Excuse me, Your Honor, could I get my laptop charger?
Yeah. What were the assumptions and inputs for the glare study?
I would have to pull it up. So the assumptions included the anti-reflective coating as a baseline, and we did run it at a conservative, as I mentioned earlier, 15 feet high is the max allowable. The routes were set at 5.25 feet, assuming average height of a car, and then observation points were set at 15 feet above ground level, assuming the view from a second floor window.
And does that study take into account the topography?
Yes.
Does, as far as the existing buffer, does that study take into account where there's areas between trees? Or does it assume the buffer's opaque?
We did not model any buffer, any landscaping buffer in the glare study.
The FAA evaluation provided a conditional determination, is that right? So, what is your understanding of what that condition means? That conditional determination means?
That the project represents no hazard, and then we would file a Part 2 to notify the FAA of construction so they could continue to monitor.
And then what happens if there's a change in their determination at that point?
Consultation with the FAA to resolve the issue.
Okay. I don't have any further questions for this witness. Counsel, do you have questions based on my questions?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you for your testimony. You can take a seat.
The applicant calls Pero Melitz.
Good morning. Can you raise your right hand? swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury, tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in the testimony that you're about to give?
I do.
And could you please state and spell your first and last name?
Piero, P-I-E-R-O, Mellits, M-E-L-L-I-T-S.
And could you give us your business address?
2906 Blueberry Lane, Bowie, Maryland, 20715.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you please state who you work for and your job title?
I work for LCSJ Services, LLC, site engineering firm. I'm the owner.
What is the nature of your business?
Site engineering, we provide land development engineering services.
In the electronic document room that we created, you have a document entitled Case Number 9811, Supplemental Testimony Piero Mellits, filed on August 21st, 2026, under Mail Log 333527, consisting of 20 pages.
Yes,
Your Honor, request that Case Number 9811, Supplemental Testimony of Piero Mellits, be marked as Applicant's Exhibit 17.
17 is marked.
Mr. Mellis, was this document prepared by you or under your supervision or control?
yes,
And if I were to ask you the same questions today, would your answers be the same?
yes,
And is your testimony true and correct to the best of your ability?
yes.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have no further questions. This witness is available for questioning.
PPRP,
No questions.
County,
If you'll give me a moment, Your Honor, just to see if I have any questions I didn't ask for Rachel Boots. I'll ask a couple. Specifically in relation to communications regarding William Snyder, did you have these communications with Mr. Snyder directly?
I did not speak with him directly.
So your testimony is based on a review of submission of bench data request materials?
Correct.
Are you familiar with the role that William Snyder has within Harford County?
Yes,
Are you familiar generally with the Development Advisory Committee?
yes,
Is it your understanding that the application has gone through the DAC in any formal manner?
to my knowledge, there was interaction with that committee. Yes,
What do you mean by interaction?
with the committee members, and that would be Mr. Snyder.
So specifically the committee member, Mr. Snyder, there was communications with him.
That's my understanding. Yes, I did not have any specific.
So I would repeat my question. Do you have any understanding of whether or not there was any actual formal review by the Development Advisory Committee regarding this project?
I'm not aware.
You stated on page 4 of your testimony that in response to Mr. Shake's testimony on the lack of coordination with the local fire department, that, quote, this is an inaccurate statement as the applicant is coordinated with the county's Development Advisory Committee Fire Service Representative William Snyder. Do you believe that William Snyder is a official or unofficial respondent on behalf of the Level Volunteer Fire Department?
It's my understanding he is a county employee and responded with response to the inquiry through the development process on behalf of the county.
So do you have any indication in any materials that you've reviewed that there was any response in coordination with the actual local fire department itself?
I'm not aware of any.
You stated further on page 6 with questioning, the question stating, what is your response to the county's proposed condition number 9, which would require complete site access to the local fire chief? You indicated there that William Snyder suggested that there would be a Knox box for 24/7 unobstructed site access. Do you believe that the Knox box constitutes complete site access with regards to the dimensions of the project?
The Knox box provides site access through a gate.
So the Knox box is not an indication that the project has been designed in such a way that would allow emergency vehicles to access any given portion of the property by itself. It's not a specific indicator of that.
The Knox box is a box about 4 or 5 inches, rectangular.
Mhm.
It's like a little safe that sits on the post adjacent to the gate. The Knox box provides access, has a key inside that allows emergency responder or anybody else who has access to that box a key to open the gate and gain access to the facility. That's the purpose of the Knox box.
I have no further questions.
Any redirect?
Just a couple. Just to clarify your testimony on cross, on what is your testimony based on? What review?
My review was in consultation with the development group, also reviewing the site plan, reviewing the documents associated with the project, any comments that were previously made of record, reviewed all those documents.
Thank you. And if you know, what is the requirement to obtain county review in terms of fire service?
The requirement with respect to fire service,
Yes.
any plans that come forward are distributed for comment, review and comment from a county representative. And in this case, the developer had communicated with Mr. Snyder. He is the county's representative for fire and EMS.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Your Honor, may I have a brief recross?
Sure.
You just said the development group. Did you mean the Development Advisory Committee?
No, I'm referring to the permittee in this case.
So the applicant is the developer?
The applicant, excuse me.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for the clarification. That is all.
Sir, at the bottom of page 4 of your testimony, you describe the changes that were made. After describing the changes that were made in response to the email exchange, you stated at line 21, his requested changes and subsequent review and approval of the updated plan is in line with fire response and fire safety standards for solar photovoltaic facilities of similar magnitude and location throughout the state of Maryland. What do you mean by that?
I've worked on facilities in other counties, other locations, and the comments from Mr. Snyder are the same and or very similar to what I've experienced elsewhere across the state.
I don't have any further questions. Any questions based off of my questions, counsel?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you for your testimony. You can
Thank
have
you.
a seat.
Sorry, Your Honor. No further. No other witnesses.
The applicant rests. PPRP?
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll call Barbara Brox to the stand once Mr. Mellitz is clear.
Good morning. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury to tell the truth, the whole truth, And could you provide your business address?
The business address is Taj Office Building, 580 Taylor Avenue, Annapolis, Maryland. Zip code is escaping me, but we're located on floor B3.
Thank you.
Your Honor, before I'd like to mark the PPRP's 9 exhibits for identification before I start discussing the matter
Yes, sir.
with Ms. Brox, as she will sponsor all 9. PPRP Exhibit 1 is the direct testimony of Barbara Brox filed on July 9th, 2026 under mail log number 331940. PPRP Exhibit 2 is the DNR secretarial letter filed on July 9th, 2026 under mail log number 331940. That letter is signed only by the Secretary of DNR. When I get to Exhibit 7, that'll be the next signature. PPRP Exhibit 3 is the initial recommended license conditions submitted by PPRP on July 9th, 26 under mail log number 331940. PPRP Exhibit 4 is the project assessment report, July 9th, 26, mail log number 331940. PPRP Exhibit 5 is Appendix A to the project assessment report, which consists of selected responses to PPRP data requests filed on July 9th, 26, under mail log number 331940. PPRP Exhibit 6 is Appendix B to the project assessment report, and that consists of reference sections of PPRP's website filed July 9th, 26, 331940. PPRP Exhibit 7 is the MDE secretarial letter filed on July 10th of 26 under mail log number 332023. It is identical to PPRP Exhibit 2, except that it contains the signature of Secretary McElwain, the Secretary of the Maryland Department of the Environment. PPRP Exhibit 8 is responses to bench data request number 1, filed on July 31st, 2026, under mail log number 332691. And finally, PPRP Exhibit 9 is responses to bench data request number 3, filed on August 16th, 2026, and that was filed under mail log number 333307. Do you have copies of these exhibits with you, Ms. Brox?
Yes, I do.
Were these exhibits prepared by you or under your supervision?
They were.
Are they true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, but I have to do corrections to my direct testimony.
And I would like to invite you to do so at this time.
I have 4 corrections. The first is on direct testimony, is page 5, and it also applies to PAR Table 2 and all discussions in the for the project information section. On line, sorry, Your Honor, 15, the limit of construction reads 14.3 acres. This should now read 14.7 acres as per the updated site plan filed on August 21st, 2025. Second correction is on page 9. This is page 9 of my direct testimony, line number 17. It states that the project proposes a 50-foot stream buffer. This is now incorrect, as the project proposes to have a 75-foot stream buffer per Harford County Code Section 726.2, 726-26.
75 foot.
75 foot.
Thank you.
The third correction is located on page 26 of my direct testimony, and it applies to the PAR page 2. Give me just a moment to get there. Sorry, Your Honor, I wrote down page numbers but not lines. Direct testimony lines number 12 through 14, where it discusses how the applicant intends to rely on existing vegetation to screen the project along the southeastern border. That is now incorrect. The applicant is planting updated landscaping per the updated site plan. The applicant is now planting the 20-foot wide landscape buffer all along the southern portion of the property, both the southwest and the southeast.
Per the August 21st updated site plan?
That is correct. And this change also applies to row 15 of the PAR.
page 15 of the PAR?
Row 15.
Row 15, thank you.
And finally, the last correction is located on page 28 of my direct testimony. Line number 17. In regards to the applicant's glare study,
Sorry, what
PPR
page is this?
sorry,
28.
I
page
thought you said-
28.
I thought you said the last page, I'm sorry. 28, thank you.
This is my last correction, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I misunderstood, thank you.
Page 28, line 17. It has the statements and proposed landscape buffer in their SGAT model analysis. That part is incorrect. PPRP determined that they use the existing vegetation but not the proposed landscape buffer in modeling for the glare study.
With respect to PPRP Exhibit 1, your direct testimony, if you were testifying to those matters under oath today, would your testimony be the same?
With the 4 corrections I just stated, yes.
And are there any further corrections you would wish to make to the record?
No.
Your Honor, at this time, I would move for admission of PPRP Exhibits 1 through 9 into the record.
1 through 9 are marked. Any objection?
No.
1 through 9 are admitted. Thank you for those updates. That's very useful.
And at this time, I would tender the witness.
Let's go to the county.
All right, I have just a couple of questions for you. On page 9, you discuss the consistency with the local jurisdiction's comprehensive plan and zoning ordinance. The second portion of this, it's actually on page 10, it states that the applicant states the project is consistent with Harford County's comprehensive plan. Did PPRP review those consistency with the comprehensive plan independently?
PPRP did not review it independently. What happens is that I put together the PAR, the project assessment report. We distribute that to the state agencies. One of those includes the Department of Planning, who does then take a look at the comprehensive plan, report for each county, and we wait on comments from the Department of Planning. We received no comments regarding the comprehensive report for Hartford County, so I went with the statement from the ERD.
When and how did you send out that request?
That is an interagency email, so it's at the end prior to us filing our comprehensive report and getting signatures from the secretaries of DNR and MDE.
So this is an email to DNR and MDE, or also?
So no, it's to all the reviewing state agencies. Before PPRP files our report, all reviewing state agencies review their sections of it and make any additional comments for us to look at.
So did you reach out in communications to the county with regards to conformance with their comprehensive plan?
That I did not.
Okay. So the state agencies that you reached out to provided no comments with regarding the comprehensive plan conformance, and the county was never solicited for its comments?
No, the applicant stated that they had reached out to the county and they determined in their ERD, and that's what we went with.
You state generally a variety of comments on page 16 and further regarding water features in the project area, water impacts, etc. The earlier testimony that you identified with regards to setbacks to the stream were changed to 75 feet. Were there any attempts to provide any sort of setbacks to the wetlands on the property?
Wetland review and coordination is handled under MDE. PPRP has a recommended licensing condition that requires the applicant to submit reports to MDE and receive their approval in regards to wetlands, and that also applies if you're going to do wetlands disturbance, the Army Corps of Engineers for JPA. And there's a recommended licensing condition for that as well. If you give me a moment, I can tell you the exact
Sure.
licensing condition. Bear with me for just a moment longer. Change the order of things. Yes, sorry, it's condition number 29, located on page 9 of 16 for the recommended licensing conditions. It's labeled surface water, wetlands, and hydrologic impacts.
On page 28 of your testimony, you talked about the glare impacts, and you just recently issued a correction stating that the applicant included the existing vegetation and proposed landscape buffer in their SGHAT model analysis, and changed that testimony to say that they did not include the landscape buffer. What would be the effect from PPRP's perspective to the glare study if this buffer were not included in the review?
Not including the buffer in this review has no effect. The first review showed that there were no glare impacts. Even if you were to include the buffer, that's not going to change. In fact, it would probably help if there had been, because you're mitigating those.
But if you were to exclude the buffer, if the buffer isn't there for a period of years, and you said that they did not include that, would that have any impacts on glare?
No.
Why would that not have any impacts on glare if there were no exclusion to of the landscape buffer?
Because they already ran this, that was where my correction was. They did not include the landscape buffer inside of the glare analysis, and they had 0 glare.
I understand.
So,
Thank you. You stated on page 30 that the applicant initiated contact with the Lovell Volunteer Fire Department in January 2026 and will consult the fire marshal approval of the CPCN. You heard testimony today from both of applicants' witnesses regarding communications with William Snyder. Is it your understanding now that William Snyder is not a representative of the Lovell Volunteer Fire Department?
I am still a little. Yes, I believe that's what came out of today's discussions.
So would you correct your testimony here to say that the applicant initiated contact with the Department of Environmental Services representative for the Development Advisory Committee of Harford County?
That would be a correct, yes, I'd like to, that should be a correction to my testimony. Can I still do that at this time, Your Honor?
What page?
This is
Tell me-
page 30, lines
Page
19 to
30,
20.
Public Service and Safety section.
Okay. And
So-
it should now read what?
On line 19, it starts, the applicant initiated contact with the Lavelle Volunteer Fire Department in January 2026 and will consult the fire marshal upon approval of, should be upon approval of the CPCN. So actually, no, that statement is still correct. Give me just a moment to go to the data request number. I do understand what you're saying. So yes, the first portion of that statement where it says the applicant initiated contact with the Lavelle Volunteer Fire Department, that contact was Mr. Schneider, and Mr. Schneider was not the representative of the Lavelle Volunteer Fire Department. The second portion of that statement where they will consult the fire marshal upon approval of CPCN is still correct.
Do you have any understanding whether or not the applicant did communicate with the local fire department? Absent that communication that you now understand is to William Snyder from the county government?
No, that information we had that's put here in my direct testimony came directly from the response to our data request regarding fire safety and contact with the local fire department. So that information I have here is what was provided to us.
I have no further questions.
Applicant?
Just one or two, Your Honor. Ms. Brox, are you familiar? You cite to the PUA section 7 to 18 F2 VII. You know what that section requires?
I'd have to look that up for directly if you just give me.
Sure.
Am I allowed to look that up on the internet, Your Honor? I wasn't sure how that worked.
Sure.
I
Or
can
do you have
provide
it
her with a
printed out?
copy.
Okay.
That'd be great. What was the section?
It's 7-218 F2 Romanet, I think is the right word. VII. I just learned that recently. Can you read that out loud?
Sure. Is it Romanet? Do you want me to read all of them from starting from?
Romanet. VII.
So Romanet VII states shall provide notice of each proposed solar energy generating station to the emergency response services of each county in which any portion of the generating station is to be constructed, including a map of the proposed generating station and the proposed location of any solar collector or isolator switch.
So it doesn't say that you need to contact the local fire department, correct?
So I'm not an attorney. It's kind of like a legal interpretation, but it doesn't have the words. It says proposed solar. So it says provide notice
To whom?
of each proposed solar generator station to the emergency response services.
So not the local fire department.
No, it does not say local fire department.
That's all I have here.
Staff?
Staff has no questions for this witness. Thank you.
Thank you. PPRP proposed condition 37, FAA determination.
Sorry, Your Honor, just let me flip back.
It's on page 13 of 16.
Go the right way. I'm there. Was now there. Okay.
Was this condition proposed generally to be used across cases, or was this condition proposed for this case with the conditional FAA determination that was received by the applicant?
This was done specifically for this case due to the determination received by the applicant.
Okay. Do you still have that 7 to 18 in front of you? That no? Okay. So 7 to 18 F (4) says the buffer or vegetative screening required in paragraph 2 Romanet IV of this subsection shall 1, not be more than 35 feet wide. 2, be provided along all property lines locations of the exterior boundary for the solar energy generating station where existing wooded vegetation of 50 feet or more in width does not exist, or an alternative location within the boundary for the solar energy generating station if the owner demonstrates that the alternative location would maximize the visual screening. And 3, provide for 4-season visual screening of the solar energy generating station. 4, be placed between any fencing of the public view. 5, include multi-layered staggered rows of overstory and understory trees and shrubs that 1, are a mixture of evergreen and deciduous vegetation, 2, are predominantly native to the region, 3, are more than 4 feet in height at planting, 4, are designed to provide screening or buffering within 5 years of planting, 5, may not be trimmed to stunt upward or outward growth or to otherwise limit the effectiveness of the visual screen. 6, conform to the plant size specifications established by the American Standard for Nursery Stock. And 7, are specified in a landscaping plan prepared by a qualified professional landscape architect. Is it PPRP's position that what the applicant has planned in this case complies with that section of 7 to 18?
It does once you take into account their responses to PPRP data request 4-4.
4-4. Give me a second.
Let me confirm that it's 4-4, not 4-1 for a moment, Your Honor, but yes.
It's on page 54 of that attachment.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry, Your Honor. As I'm looking for it to state, it should be the questions that we ask regarding the type C landscape buffer.
Yes, 4-4.
Yep.
Okay, I just read 4-4, the applicant's response. You were in the room earlier when I showed the visual rendering that included a landscape buffer at maturity.
Yes. Yes.
Did you think that that provides four-season visual screening?
The virtual rendering may not have appeared to provide the 4-season visual screening. The discussion and the description, I believe, answered that question.
Okay, can you point me where in their response to
Yes.
PPRP data request 4-4 you got that?
I apologize. My binder fell, so I'm trying to put things back
Do you
together.
want to see mine?
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so So they included the species that they were going to use. They included the height at planting, and why they considered for what they considered for the small trees. And then, so if you were to take this response and then pull up sheet C for the landscape buffer, so it's, I mean, rephrase that. It's a combination of looking at what they had for their landscape buffer
Okay.
detail as well as 4-4.
So PPRP 4-4 in combination with what now?
The sheet for the landscape buffer. Now, I originally looked at that sheet in regards to the first conceptual site plan that was submitted. I have not compared that yet to the updated conceptual site plan.
Okay, but the, this site plan, page 4, landscape C004, in the buffer notes, it says, minimum of 20 feet wide. Is that what we're talking about for this case?
We are talking about the landscape buffer, planting and material details that shows the deciduous and evergreen trees.
Yeah, I'm asking, what is the testimony about how wide the buffer is going to be in this case?
So the ERD stated that the buffer would be 20 feet wide.
Okay, and is that the latest?
That is not. So, yes, Your Honor, my testimony in that regard to the landscape buffer's specific details, I had not yet had a chance to compare that to the updated conceptual site plan.
Okay,
What-
so now, what is the latest testimony from the applicant with regards to how wide the buffer is going to be?
The updated concept plan still shows a 20-foot wide landscape buffer.
Okay, and it says 6 large trees, 5 medium/small trees per 100 linear feet, right?
Correct.
Okay, and 25 shrubs per 100 linear feet. And the mixture of evergreen and deciduous shrubs shall be such that no more than 40% of the shrubs are deciduous, no less than 60% of the shrubs are evergreens, and there is 1 shrub for every 40 square feet of required buffer yard. Shrubs shall be planted between 3 and 5 feet apart in straight or staggered rows such that a dense visual buffer will be established by the mature shrubs. But there's nothing in there that says that the trees should be, how many rows of tree plantings there are, how they're staggered, how they're planted. So I'm not sure how those two things together guarantee that there's going to be a 4-season visual screening.
That is correct. It talks about the shrubs being staggered, but not the trees.
Are you familiar with other visual bufferings being proposed in solars across the state that have a diagram in the site plan of the way the plantings should be in relation to each other?
I have seen that in other cases, yes.
Okay. If there are several trees in a row that are going to lose their leaves in the fall and winter, those are not going to provide adequate buffering full year round. Is that right?
That is correct.
Did PPRP ask for a visual impact in its data request because it believed that the 7-18 code section requiring it applied to this project?
Can you repeat the question, Your Honor, the visual impact question? This might be your copy.
PPRP asked for a viewshed analysis in its data request. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. And 7218 at 2 little vi 1 and 2 require that a viewshed analysis be filed with the application in cases where there may be a visual impact on a preservation area, rural legacy area, priority preservation area, public park, scenic river or byway, designated heritage area or historic structure or site listed on the or eligible for the National Register of Historic Places or relevant county register of historic places.
I do know, yes, Your Honor. The Appendix S of the applicant's ERD lists out several county historic references, as well as MHT had a reference to it. It's in my PAR referred to as the Ira Jenkins House. It's on the MHT register. Due to that, we asked for a viewshed analysis. They fell into that category. The project, sorry, fell into that category.
Thank you. I don't have any further questions. Do you have any questions based off of my questions?
No, Your Honor, no redirect.
Thank you for your testimony today.
I think
Oh.
this is yours.
Anything else for PPRP?
No, Your Honor.
Do you want to take a, does anybody need a break before we call the county witnesses? Yes? We're going to take a 5-minute break, go off the record. Thank you.
I can live for days on them. Mike, do you have a witness? Is it Sam? Yes. Samarit?
Okay, that was the easy one?
No, that's not. Fancy words. You know what I'm talking about?
That's what I heard her say it.
Correct. Correct.
These guys, these are called Romanets. Roman,
You ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
We can go back on the record. We're ready for the county's case.
Thank you, Your Honor. We'll call Thomas Shake to the stand first.
I think this belongs to PPRP's witness.
Oh.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in the testimony that you're about to give?
I do, sir.
And would you please state and spell your first and last name?
Thomas G. Scheck, Thomas, middle initial G, spelling last name Scheaech.
And could you please provide your business address?
Business address is 2220 80 Road, Forest Hill, Maryland, 21050.
Thank you.
Before we begin, I'd like to mark for identification our exhibits 1 through 5. Exhibit 1 is the testimony of Matthew Kropp at mail log 332440. Exhibit number 2 is Thomas Scheck, 332440. Exhibit number 3 is Harford County's response to bench data request number 1. That's 333439. Exhibit number 4 is the Energov permit history for 127 Hopewell Road, identified as 333439 in mail logs. And exhibit number 5 is the supplemental testimony of Matthew Kropp at 333531.
1 through 5 are marked.
Thank you. Mr. Scheck, you have a copy of what has been marked as Exhibit 2 with you. Is this correct?
Yes, it is.
Is that the testimony of Thomas Scheck?
Yes, it is.
Are you familiar with this testimony?
Yes, sir, I am.
Was it prepared by you under your supervision?
Yes, it was.
Were your responses true and accurate to the best of your knowledge when you produced them?
Yes, it was.
If I asked you those same questions today, would they be the same?
They would. I have reviewed additional testimony, and I may have some additions to that.
So in regards to the additions you want to make, did you review the supplemental testimony of Rachel Boots?
Yes, I did.
And did you review the supplemental testimony of I'm sorry, Mr. DeWitt. Not, I'm sorry, not DeWitt. I'm losing. I'm sorry. The other applicant's witness. It's not DeWitt.
Melitz.
Sorry. Thank you, Your Honor. Have you reviewed that supplemental testimony as well?
Yes, I have.
In this testimony, they presented communications with regards to a Mr. William Snyder. Are you familiar with this testimony?
Yes, I am.
Do you have any comments related to this testimony that you reviewed and heard again today?
Yes, I am. The statements of the supplemental testimony by Mr. Melitz, in my research, are incorrect. Mr. Snyder is an employee of Harford County government, is employed by the Department of Emergency Services, and as such, he is delegated by the Volunteer Fire Association, of which I am president, to represent our interests at the Development Advisory Committee meetings that occur periodically throughout the year, based upon submissions from applicants. Mr. Snyder, in his capacity, reaches out to the local volunteer fire company chief officer in attempt to solicit direct input from those communities that would be impacted by the service provisions in those proposed projects.
When would he reach out to those local fire chiefs?
Normally, the way things work in the county is once a project is received in paper or electronic form, then Mr. Snyder would in turn contact the fire chief in the community of which that would be potentially located and solicit input from that.
And by received, you mean received officially for review by the Development Advisory Committee?
That is correct, sir.
Has this application yet been received by the Development Advisory Committee?
To my knowledge, no.
To your knowledge, are these communications with Mr. Snyder just direct communications with him alone?
That is correct. I did speak with Mr. Snyder yesterday on 2 occasions following the receipt of the supplemental testimony by Mr. Melitz, and I confirmed with Mr. Snyder, again on those 2 occasions, that this was an email exchange only.
And as a result, Mr. Snyder did not indicate that he had forwarded along any communications to the local level fire chief?
No, he had not, as he had not received anything in writing, and a site plan or anything.
Did he have any understanding from the applicant that he was supposed to do so?
I can't specifically say to that, but I can only speak to what we do internally in the county.
Previous testimony solicited referenced Section 7218 of the Public Utilities article in subsection, it's VII. The quotation being, shall provide notice to each proposed solar energy generating station to the emergency response services of each county in which any portion of the generating station is to be constructed, including a map of the proposed generating station and the proposed location of any solar collector or isolator switch. Acknowledging that you are also not an attorney, do you have an understanding as to what emergency response services of the county, of each county, would encompass?
I believe that each county is going to be somewhat different. Harford County is structured quite uniquely in the fact we do have a Department of Emergency Services. However, they are a coordinating agency with 11 volunteer fire companies that service Harford County. Department of Emergency Services' role has been one of intense cooperation and collaboration. However, the authority rests for the communities with each local fire chief in which a proposed facility of any nature would occur.
So do you believe that notice to the emergency response services of Harford County would encompass both the Department of Environmental Services, Emergency Services, and also the particular volunteer fire department of a given region of any given application?
That is correct, and that has been past practice.
And do you have any understanding of whether or not the level fire company has received any notification subsequent to your direct testimony?
I have been in contact with the chief of the level volunteer fire company several times over the last 6 to 8 months once this proposed project even came to discussion phase. As late as yesterday evening at 7 p.m., I spoke to the chief. He went back and again checked his emails, text messages. He has received no contact whatsoever from the applicant or their emissaries.
Has he had any capacity to review any of the submitted materials from the applicant?
No, he has not.
Thank you. I don't have any further direct for this witness. He's open for cross.
BPRP?
No cross.
Applicant?
Yes, Your Honor, just a few questions. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Sorry.
That's all right.
So you say you reviewed all of the materials that were docketed in this case. Is that correct?
I received the testimonies and the supplemental testimony. Yes, I did.
I'm going to show you what we've been talking about. It's the email exchange between. Hang on. No, it's not. Found it.
Where can the rest of us find what you're about to show the witness?
It's in PPRP's exhibit to the recommended licensing condition. It's the response. It's the applicant's response to PPRP's DR 2-8.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry, going back to the January 9th email from Mr. Snyder to Mr. Doshi. Can you read what he said in number 2?
Number 2 states that the gravel parking area shall be extended with a gravel path through the gate into the site. We need to be able to at least get a unit inside the gate. By looking at the scale of the drawings here, it appears that the solar array extends approximately 600 feet deep into the site. How would I get any units to that far end of the array? We have found most solar farms leave a travel path of some sort for access.
And do you have, did I provide you with the drawing that he was looking, or the picture that he was looking at the time?
I'm sorry, I don't have that.
What? Which version of the site plan are you going to show him?
It says site plan to CO22, but it was attached to the response.
Okay.
It's just the attachment to the response.
The attachment to the data response?
Yes, ma'am.
Would I understand that that's
There
the
isn't-
October 10th?
There isn't an attachment to the data response. At least not included within PPRP's exhibit. PPRP exhibit 5.
That's fine, actually, Your Honor, because my point is, he does say that he looked at drawings here. In the number 2 that you just read to us,
Okay.
it says that he, by looking at the scale of the drawings here, so that's, the implication is that he's looked at something, a drawing.
I have to
Correct.
assume that's correct from his email. This is the first I've seen this email.
And that's different from what you just testified to, that he told you yesterday that he hadn't reviewed anything.
That is correct. I'm going on the statement that he made to me yesterday evening on the phone.
Thank you. And just looking, going back to the email exchange,
Mm-hmm.
on Tuesday, January 20th, from Mr. Snyder to Mr. Doshi.
I'm trying to find that. Okay.
So can you just read the whole, it's a short email.
Okay, from Mr. Snyder to Mr. Doshi, dated 20 January 2026 at 9:22 a.m. This is fine. Thank you for providing us an opportunity to comment. Also, can you contact me when project is near completion so we can set up a basic training and site walkthrough for local fire department?
And can you read Mr. Doshi's response right above that?
Thanks for from Mr. Doshi to Mr. Snyder, again, dated 1/20/2026 at 9:24. Thanks for the review. We will definitely reach out again as the project gets closer to completion so you can gain familiarity with the site. And that
Thank
was
you,
from Mr. Doshi.
Thank you, sir. So it's clear from this email exchange that the applicant is planning to reach out and contact, through Mr. Schneider, contact the local fire department as it gets closer in time to construction. Is that what you gained from that?
I would gain from that, yes, but again, the proper procedure within Harford County is for the DES, Department of Emergency Services rep, Mr. Snyder, is to contact the chief of the local volunteer fire company and make sure that those connections are closed.
Great, thank you. So, attached to your testimony there, you filed the brief called Fire Protection Challenges, Battery Energy Storage Systems, and Solar Arrays, correct?
That is correct, but that was somehow that got attached to this case. That was related to another instance.
So, would you like to withdraw that from the your testimony? You want to?
At this point in time, without further review, I'd have to defer comment.
So can we talk about the brief a little, or are you saying that it doesn't apply to this case?
Without going back and referring to it, because the only preparation I did for today was specific to case 9811.
So you're saying that the brief that you attached to your testimony in this case does not apply to this case? Correct?
I am not exactly sure which brief you're referring to. I have provided several briefs through counsel to the Public Service Commission. One involved a case 9866, and this case obviously involves case 9811. Somehow, at some point in time, I'm assuming from what you're telling me that those two were attached when they probably should not have been.
I can provide you a copy of the brief if that's helpful.
I may have it here.
Your testimony won't have attached it, sir, but if you would review the copy that she has. I only printed out the version without
Okay.
the brief attached.
Where?
This was an attachment to the direct testimony, Mr. Scheck. We then submitted a revised copy because I had an error in the actual caption itself with regards to the numbers, so I only printed out those couple of pages for his document, but that brief was attached to his testimony.
Okay.
So if he has the opportunity to refresh his recollection, he may testify to whatever questions opposing counsel wishes to ask of him.
I'm looking at the docket. Under mail log number 332440, and I don't see a brief attached.
The brief is an appendix directly within the direct testimony. It's one big PDF.
I may have printed this off the email that you sent.
It would also have been in the email, but it should be in the actual. Give me 13324.
Can you take a look at docket item number?
Give me a moment to pull it up.
Sorry, 53. Is that where you're referring?
Let me pull it up, Your Honor.
Yeah.
I see what happened. Whenever I was communicating with Ms. Dwyer, I had sent the caption corrected variant to her, and she replaced it directly with the original testimony. The caption corrected PDF did not have that attachment. So opposing counsel has that attachment, but the mail log does not have the additional brief that was attached to the original version of the PDF or of the testimony.
Okay. Do me a favor. Can you send a copy of that attached brief
I will
or
send
the
that.
original filing or something that contains that attached brief to myself and all council?
Yes, I will send that as a response to the other email that I sent this morning with the Hartford Next Plan link.
Okay, sorry for the delay. Go ahead, council.
Can I have a moment, Your Honor, just
Sure.
to look at this?
Do you, we're going to go off the record for about 2 minutes. I don't have access to my email here, and I don't have access to that document, and I would like to follow along. Thank you.
So, Grant, is the caption corrected the same as the,
It's the same testimony.
Okay,
It just
okay.
had the original caption accidentally had 9866.
yes,
since
I saw
yeah.
that.
So I resent that by itself, and since Ms. Dwyer replaced it directly, it didn't have that attached
Gotcha.
document within it.
Okay, we can go back on the record.
This is slightly procedurally irregular. I don't mean to interrupt the cross-examination, but if it might help as a general proffer, Mr. Scheck's his appendix that was attached there was a composite brief for both responses to solar facilities and BESSs. There is no BESS in this application, so the portion talking about BESS technology is not directly applicable to this. We just submitted that because it was already out of time, and we wanted to get it to the PSC as quickly as possible. So We don't intend to sponsor anything regarding BESS testimony specifically for this. It was just applied to both.
Go ahead, counsel.
What, I want you to go first, Your Honor. No, I'm just kidding. That's helpful. So that takes care of a lot of my cross-examination questions. Do you want to withdraw it completely from the testimony?
I do believe that there are components in there that are attached to solar panels in a CSEGS format that Mr. Scheck would be able to testify to if his recollection were refreshed. It was not an inadvertent attachment to this testimony. It should be.
Were you given a copy of this? Do you have it in front of you?
Yes, I do have it in front of me.
No, I don't have it in front of me. The section on PV solar arrays.
Yes.
I'll draw your attention to that. Two of the major concerns that you indicated in that are access to the facility I need to refresh my recollection. Hang on, Your Honor.
You have some things highlighted. I'm assuming that's what you're looking for.
You know what? I can give the witness my copy, and you can have your copy.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your two most, you call it the paramount importance, are access to the installation and also access using a Knox box. Is that correct?
That is correct, ma'am.
And Mr. Snyder, in the email that we saw, that you read to us, he indicated that he wanted the facility to do those things.
Correct.
And if the applicant agreed to do those things.
I believe from the content of that email, that was the intention, correct?
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Okay. Staff?
Staff has no questions for this witness. Thank you very much.
What all did you review to prepare for your testimony?
I reviewed my own testimony that I had supplied. I reviewed the supplemental testimony that I received yesterday that was authored by Mr. Mellitz to counsel, and counsel forwarded that to me yesterday afternoon.
Have you reviewed the site plan in this case?
I have not. Other than the diagram that counsel, the applicant counsel just showed me, that was the first pictorial I had seen of anything.
Have you seen a map of the proposed generating station and the proposed location of any solar collector or isolator switch?
No, I have not.
Okay, who is the representative of the local fire station that you think it would be appropriate to correspond with?
Chief Marvin Jackson of the Level Volunteer Fire Company.
At your testimony at page 4, do you have your testimony in front of you?
My testimony or
Your testimony, not
yes,
the
stand by.
yeah.
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
At line 6, you say, from the fire service perspective, until we receive sufficient communication and are provided the opportunity for input as to how this will impact emergency response and planning, it is premature to provide an educated opinion. Right. What information would you need to provide an educated opinion?
In discussion with the level fire chief and on other projects not related to this, the response agency, when in this case I'm referring to the local volunteer fire company based upon our structure, they have repeatedly requested the very same things. access roads, egress roads, width of access roads, stability of access roads, ability to access these roads in the event of inclement weather. Because obviously a lot of these sites use pervious surfaces, and they are subject to the weather. We want to ensure that these access roadways will support the weight of a heaviest piece of apparatus. We tailor our response profiles based upon worst case scenarios. And in that case, we look at the width of a deployed piece of apparatus, the overall weight of a deployed piece of apparatus.
But you haven't reviewed all of the relevant evidence in this case to see if that information is in the docket.
From what I was provided with, all I found was some general industry standards relative to these across the spectrum, not specific to this case.
Counsel for the county, is there a reason why the county hasn't asked a data request to try to get the information necessary it would need to, make project-specific recommendations?
I don't think there's any specific reason why we didn't ask for one, and I'd be happy to ask now for a data request to provide that information, but we just didn't do it in the past.
So you didn't see a site map until today?
That is correct.
Okay. All right, thank you for your testimony, I appreciate it. Do you have any?
I don't think I noted, I would like to move Exhibit 2 into evidence. I don't think I've actually done so yet.
Exhibit 2 meaning?
His testimony.
Okay. Do you mean his testimony or his testimony in the attached?
Well,
brief?
and the attached brief.
Okay.
We need to correct that in the mail log as well.
So what you're going to need, I'll accept Exhibit 2 into evidence. I will accept the attached brief into evidence. It's going to have to be marked as a separate exhibit.
Sure.
And you're going to have to file it in the docket.
Sure. We will mark that as exhibit. I believe 6 is available. We'll mark that as exhibit 6, and I will submit that by mail log later today.
Thank you. I don't have any further questions. You can have a seat. Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
We'd like to call Matt Kropp to the stand.
Good afternoon. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in the testimony that you're about to give? And could you please state and spell your first and last name?
Matthew Kropp, M-A-T-T-H-E-W, K-R-O-P-P.
And could you provide your business address?
220 South Main Street, Bel Air, Maryland, 21014.
Thank you, Mr. Kropp, for being here today. I'll direct you to Exhibit 1 first. This is the testimony of Matthew Kropp. Are you familiar with this?
Yes, I am.
Was this prepared by you under your supervision?
Yes, it was.
Were your responses true and accurate to the best of your knowledge at the time?
Yes.
If I asked you those same questions today, would the answers be the same?
Yes.
Do you have any additions or updates you would like to make to that testimony?
Yes.
Did you hear any testimony today that would impact what testimony you presented previously to the PULJ?
Yes.
In particular, you heard testimony with regards to stream buffering and comprehensive plan. You heard that there was that the applicant was going to change the stream buffer to 75 feet. Did you have any opinion as to that change and any buffering for the NRD buffer and for wetlands?
Yes, I do.
Could you please present that testimony?
Yes. So in Harford County, we have varying stream buffers to varying streams depending on hydrology. It could be 75 feet, they can be 150 feet. We also have buffers to non-tidal wetlands, and we have buffers to floodplain areas, and we protect our steep slope areas. And those provisions are found under the Natural Resource District provisions. And what I didn't really hear was about the impacts to the NRD. There's a 75-foot buffer to non-tidal wetlands. So not only do we protect the wetlands themselves, but we have a natural resource district that also inherently tries to protect those wetlands.
How would you expect the applicant to try to protect those wetlands if you were reviewing this project?
Well, I would expect them to avoid impacts to the wetlands themselves. In fact, if they were to go and try to disturb the wetland buffer for development, it would go through the variance process.
Would you avoid the impacts by downscaling the development?
Yeah, possibly.
What other methods would one use to avoid impacts?
I mean, not all sites are created equally, quite frankly, so the limit of disturbance would not be able to go into the natural resource district buffer without a variance.
And you heard testimony with relation to the landscape buffers as well, and it's proposed that there's a 20-foot wide Type C landscape buffer for this site. Are you familiar generally with the gradations of landscape buffers in Harford
Yes,
County?
I am.
And what is the most robust buffer in Harford County?
They go through A through E, so D and E would be certainly more robust. As you go up the letters, progress through the letters, the widths get wider, and more species are required in those areas.
Hearing testimony and questions presented today, do you believe that a Type C buffer would be adequate at this site?
No, I do not.
What type of buffer would you propose at this site?
I would propose an E buffer.
Of any particular width?
The E buffer is 50 feet.
And in regards to the Harford County Comprehensive Plan, the applicant has testified, and PPRP has generally adopted this testimony, that the proposed plan comports with the Harford County Comprehensive Plan, known as Harford Next. Are you familiar with this testimony?
Yes, I am.
Do you agree with this testimony?
I do not.
Are there particular provisions of the comprehensive plan that you believe don't comport with this proposed application?
Yes, there are.
What are you considering in particular in regards to the comprehensive plan?
In particular, the comprehensive plan, there's a land use map, and then there's also a description of those uses within that map. And the land use map is the generalized desires for the county for growth. Under an agricultural land use area, it states very clearly in Grow with Purpose, no new commercial or industrial uses are permitted in this area except for the purposes of providing services to agricultural industries.
And are you familiar with the directive on page 68 and 78 with regards to preserving productive farmland to ensure that the agricultural heritage will survive, and alternatively concerns that the farming industries, despite its strength, is losing farmland?
Your Honor, I need to object. All his questions are leading.
Rephrase.
Are you familiar with other provisions within the Harford County Comprehensive Plan adduced in testimony today with regards to conflicts to the comprehensive plan?
Yes.
Having heard that testimony from other witnesses, do you believe that there is conflict with those provisions of the comprehensive plan?
Yes, I do.
I have no further direct questions.
Here-
I'm sorry. I do have direct questions because we had the supplemental. I'm sorry. I'd like to direct your attention to Exhibit 3. This is Harford County's response to bench data request number 1. Are you familiar with this exhibit?
Yes, I am.
Was this prepared by you under your supervision?
Yes, it was.
Were your responses true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, they are.
If I asked you those questions, well, it's not a testimony, but if you reviewed the questions from the bench data request today and provided the same answers, would they be the same as last week?
Yes, they would.
Did you have any corrections to make to that bench data request?
I don't believe I have any corrections.
I'd like to direct your attention to Exhibit 4. That's the EnerGov permit history for 127 Hopewell Road in relation to the bench data request. Are you familiar with that exhibit?
Yes, I am.
Was that prepared by you under your supervision?
Yes, it was.
Is that a true and accurate summation of the EnerGov interface as it relates to this application, or rather to this subject property address?
Yes, this is a depiction of all known permits. Any permits would be found in this EnerGov system for this property.
And lastly, I will direct your attention to Exhibit number 5. That is the supplemental testimony of Matthew Kropp. Are you familiar with that?
Yes, I am.
Was that prepared by you under your supervision?
Yes, it was.
Were your responses in that supplemental testimony true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, they are.
If I asked you those questions today, would they be the same?
Yes.
Do you have any changes, corrections, or additions you would like to make to that supplemental testimony?
No changes.
I'd like to move Exhibits 1, 3, 4, and 5 into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
No objection.
When-
Now I have no further questions.
Okay, 1 through 6, county exhibits 1 through 6 are admitted. PPRP, any cross?
No cross.
The applicant.
Yes, ma'am. Since you have it handy, is it your testimony that the permits on the InterGov are related to this applicant?
These are for 127 Hopewell Road.
So the date on the most recent permit is 2022, correct?
That's correct.
And you heard the applicant's testimony today that they did not enter into negotiations or weren't involved in this piece of property until 2024, correct?
That's what I heard.
In your testimony, you testified that you did not see a glare study completed. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I'd like to show you the environmental review document that I have that was entered into evidence earlier today, but I have conveniently put it in a nice binder for you. Please turn to page 57 and look at the highlighted text. Can you read the highlighted text? I'm sorry.
Yes. Letter G, glare analysis. A glare analysis was performed using the Forge solar analysis tool to predict if there will be a glare impacts on adjacent public and private right-of-ways. And excluding any obstructions that would additionally limit impacts. The tool predicted that no glare, even if the panels are to be installed in 2P configuration at their maximum height of 15 feet. Please see Appendix U for the results of the glare study.
This is Appendix U. Can you tell Your Honor what that is?
It is a glare analysis overview, part of the environmental review document.
So a glare study was prepared.
Apparently so.
In your testimony, you also stated that you had not received a forest stand delineation. Is that correct? You being the county, I'm sorry.
To my knowledge, no forest stand delineation has been received.
I'll direct your attention to page 6 of the ERD. That's in the binder, the document in the binder. Page 6. Can you read the row where the highlighted text is?
So it says under the status, forest stand delineation completed, Appendix O.
Can you tell me what the title of that document is?
This is a forest stand delineation report.
So, in fact, the forest stand delineation has been completed and submitted, correct?
I don't know that it's been submitted.
it was submitted to the county?
I don't know that it was submitted to the county. I can't say for sure.
One moment, Your Honor. Okay. Take a look at page 40 of the ERD. I'll direct your attention to letter F, impacts to water quality and appropriation. Turning to page 42. The highlighted text, does it not talk about stormwater quality and controls being implemented for the project, and that an environmental site design will be employed on the site as approved by, or as selected by the MDE ESD guidelines?
Yes, it does.
Take a look at page 34 of the ERD. With respect to wetlands, and I think you heard this testimony today, but under B, environmental impacts, the second paragraph, there's highlighted text. That MDE and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers was on a site visit, and a joint permit application was submitted and approved. Correct? Is that what it said?
Yes, that's what it says. But I would like to note that the county was not involved with anything. With this.
So it's your understanding that the county has a higher level of understanding of wetlands than the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and the Maryland Department of the Environment?
It's not that I'm saying we have a higher understanding, but we have different regulations than the state. We have more restrictive regulations than the state of Maryland.
Thank you. And you've also testified, and we've heard it today, that the applicant has not contacted Harford County. Is that correct?
I've heard testimony that they did not contact Harford County, yes.
Can you look at page 7 on the ERD? Under F, pre-application consultation. Does it, can you read that?
Yes. The applicant, as required under COMAR 20.79.01.05, provided Harford County with an initial draft of this ERD, including a conceptual plan on May 1st, 2025. And
Keep going.
the whole paragraph?
Just the next highlighted section.
Okay. Since then, the county has confirmed receipt of the ERD, but has not provided the requested feedback. Copies of all correspondence with the county are included in Appendix C.
That's email correspondence between Mr. Grimm and Mr. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name, Boursier
Borsier.
of Harford County.
Where can the rest of us find the document that you're showing?
It's Appendix C to the ERD.
Thank you.
In the May 13th response email from Mr. Grimm, does he not indicate, or he indicates that we are in the process of reviewing the application, is that correct? The May 13th, Mr. Grimm's response.
Yes, that's what it says.
And wasn't Mr. Grimm the director of Harford County Planning and Zoning in 2025?
Yes, he was.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Staff.
Staff has no questions for this witness. Thank you very much.
Any redirect?
No redirect necessary. Well, I'll ask one question. Mr. Grimm, Mr. Kropp, you presented a testimony generally stating that you hadn't received these documents. Is this testimony intended to elicit that the documents weren't presented to the PSC, or simply that Harford County specifically was not given specific documents?
Well, for there to be an official review from the county, we really don't review other documents unless they come in through the formal process for the Development Advisory Committee process for land development. We get questions all the time about, hey, look at this, can you give some feedback on this or that? But it is not standard practice that we respond officially to those types of requests.
Thank you. No further questions.
The answer to that last question, are you referring to what counsel just, on cross-examination, what counsel just went through with you? You wouldn't normally respond to a pre-application site plan sent to you?
We would not respond to an ERD.
Is the ERD ever sent to you?
It was never sent to me personally. It was apparently sent to Mr. Grimm and Mr. Boursier. For my review, I found the ERD on the PSC's website. That's really the only time I reviewed the ERD.
Okay, so an applicant for a solar is required by statute to send an ERD to the county. And is it your testimony that the county wouldn't normally respond to that?
I can say that I have not responded to any ERDs since I've been the director.
Have you received ERDs?
We have not. I have not.
How long have you been the director?
A year.
Do you know what the date was that you started as director?
Acting director, I believe it was in June 1st of 2025, and then officially September 1st.
And you have not received any ERDs for review on potential solar projects since that time?
I have not received any ERDs from any applications. I only find them on the PSC website.
Okay, but clearly Mr. Grimm and Mr. Boursier received an ERD and we're looking at it, right? What would the county's normal review process at that time, pre-application, be?
Again, we follow our own procedures with development. We require that a plan come in through the Development Advisory Committee process for official county review.
But that wouldn't happen until after a CPCN is obtained, is that correct?
That's correct. So this is all very fluid with the county since these uses are not technically permitted in our zoning code as of today.
Right, I understand, but you understand that the Public Service Commission has the ability to preempt the county.
Yes, I do.
Right? So what's the best way that the PSC could work with the county on the specific details of a project?
I believe solar projects are different in the sense that it's not a standard development that we normally see. So I would like suggestions on how to get this information ahead of time so we're not seeing things after the fact.
Well, I don't understand that statement, the county was sent the ERD, which contains, a good portion. I mean, the information's changed in the year since that happened, but it contained a good portion of this information, and the county did not provide any feedback because of it. So I don't understand that statement. Can you clarify?
I mean, Mr. Grimm and Mr. Boursier are no longer employees with the county, either of them, so I can't say for sure, but my understanding is our department does not receive these documents. We receive usually the first documents we receive are the FSD and the FCP for a development plan.
Okay, what did you review in order to prepare for your testimony today?
I reviewed the ERD and supplemental information that I found on the PSC website.
The docket, the information
Yes.
in the docket? Okay, once a CPCN is issued and we go through the county's formal process, what did you say? What did you
The Development Advisory Committee?
I'm going to try to say that right in my questions. What documents do you ask for from the applicant?
We ask for, usually begins with a FSD, a forest stand delineation, and a forest conservation plan. And we ask for a site plan, preliminary site plan for the proposed development.
Do you get a copy of the CPCN order?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's submitted with the plans or not.
Have you reviewed a solar in Harford County as a part of the Development Advisory Committee?
Yes, we have.
Have you personally?
No, I haven't.
Okay. On page 3 of your supplemental testimony, you provided a list of 16 development considerations that the department would look to have input on regarding a solar project. Is that right?
That's correct.
Have you applied these to this project?
We have not been given a formal site plan to review.
But you reviewed a site plan so
Yeah.
This is my confusion. The county has entered as a party to this case. And the county, although they're not in evidence yet, the county has twice submitted 16 recommendations for this specific project, should it go forward. And you're the guy in charge, and you have a separate list of 16 considerations. But because we're still at the CPCN CPCN portion of the project, and we haven't yet entered into the county's Development Advisory Committee portion of the project, you're saying that you can't give advice to the commission as to these 16 very important development considerations?
Oh, I think I could give advice. I think all these are important considerations, but I guess my point is we haven't officially, as a county, in all the different departments, reviewed this site in particular yet.
Okay. Well, pretty soon the CPCN process is going to close. Mm-hmm. And if the county has not taken a look at the plan and all of the other documentation in this case, the Public Service Commission is not going to have the benefit of the county recommendations on these very important items that you listed in your testimony. Why wouldn't the county want to give its input on these things at this point in the process?
I just think that, again, we follow our zoning code and the process is outlined in the subdivision regulations, and that's typically what we're structured to do. But I agree with you. I understand the importance of review in conjunction with the PSC, but to my knowledge, that hasn't happened.
Okay. Well, let's give an example. You just testified that a buffer E is the appropriate buffer in this case. Guess what? The only thing in this record is a buffer C. I don't even know what a buffer D or E entail. I don't, other than the fact that you said it's, I think, 50 feet wide.
It is.
That's all of the information that is in this record for me to consider about buffers. So there is insufficient record in the evidence in the record to say it should be a D buffer or an E buffer. Don't you think the county would want to put evidence into the record, since it's entered as a party, to allow the Public Service Commission to take that option?
I do.
Okay, and that can be applied to every single one of these considerations on your 16-point list. If there was evidence in the record, we might be able to choose to require this project to comply with county recommendations. Even if we preempt the county and allow the project, we might be able to make the project better for the county by requiring the project to comply with some of these things if we know what they are. Does that make sense?
It does.
Have you seen the list of 16 recommendations that were attached to the comments of trying to find the exact. Well, they were attached to the cover letter of your testimony, and they were also filed with comments from the county executive. They're not in the record. Have you seen those?
Yes, I have.
And are you in agreement with those?
I would have to look at them again, but I believe so, yes.
Are you the last witness for the county today?
Yes, I am.
Council, did you intend for those 16 recommendations of the county that are contained in your cover letter to the direct testimony and also contained in the letter from the county executive? Did you intend to enter those as a county exhibit?
I didn't believe that a cover letter was supposed to be an exhibit, but if judge has directed me to do so, then yes, we'd introduce them as Exhibit 7.
I'm not directing you to do anything, but if you would like for me to consider the 16-point recommendations that are contained 2 places in the docket but not in evidence, then they should probably be issued in.
I will enter them into evidence or identify them and then enter them into evidence as Exhibit 7. And I'll note generally, if Your Honor permits it, in the supplemental testimony, part of the concern that we have here is we're trying to rewrite the ordinance to make sure that we can interface properly with the PSC, and we're currently in a nebulous state, which is causing conflicts. We're trying to resolve that promptly, but that's why Mr. Kropp is here in his capacity as a planning director as opposed to operating internally with the whole county, because the county doesn't have this process in the same timeline as a PSC does. There's a sort of cart before the horse thing. So we're trying to resolve it. But nonetheless, Exhibit 7, I would move into evidence as our list of proposed conditions.
I'm not sure. Okay. I don't think it's technically right to enter into evidence a cover letter from an attorney with recommendations. I also, County Executive Castley is not a witness in this case. But,
Your Honor, I believe the witness could testify that he's reviewed those and make a proffer on regarding that.
I asked him if he had reviewed it, and he said he'd have to take a look at it again. We're going to go on another 5-minute break from the record. I'm going to go get docket item number 25, which is the Harford County Executive letter comments. I'm not going to admit it as testimony, but I will admit it as an exhibit. But I'm going to print off a copy so the witness can see it. We're going to go off the record.
I guess password had already been taken. Oh, that's the one that was lower on the 16th floor as well. I just forgot it because I had it saved from years ago.
Well, actually, it's an improvement because it used to be just guess.
So is it 19th hearing room?
It's any of the 19 year rooms. They all work. Usually those spots are used. Yeah, I don't
Wait,
think
was it all lowercase?
all lowercase. Yeah. I think it's gonna be hard for somebody to tell who's the last one. 19th floor.
My understanding is what the little, right,
Just down the hall, it doesn't work.
It's a little.
Fire station. It's a nice building. I guess I'm used to the ones I'm more familiar with the ones I saw when I was a kid, but not. Yeah.
I get a hint of it.
Oh.
Just a little bit. It's not for far to
Yeah. Oh, I've been gone for a long time, and when I go back to visit, just turning on the radio is
I try to hide my fingers. Usually works, but I drop connecting curves a lot. That person needs.
for me, it's prepositions at the end of sentences.
Well, that's everything. Or I'll say something like that. That thing needs done. Instead of it's to be done. I invent. I was like, wait a minute. Mr. Grimm's Grimn. I don't remember the other name's full spelling.
It's
B-O-U-R.
B-O-U-R-C-I-Z-I-E-R.
Thank you.
Counsel, before we go back on the record, I've done a lot of like running out and printing stuff
Yes.
for the witness. I'm not doing that again. So if you come before me in another case or tell counsel in your same, if there's something that needs to be shown to a witness, you're going to have to bring a paper copy of that. I don't object to the computers. You know, it's a lot of printing, but I'm doing a lot of printing, and so I'm just next time I'm not going to be willing to
I
do that.
understand, Your Honor. I'll print out anything that's even tangential in the future.
Okay.
It was our intention to print out the exhibits. We just had these other things that I wasn't intending to introduce, but I'll print them out in the future.
I understand. We can go back on the record, but I'm going to give this gentleman a time to read the 4-page document I just handed him.
Back on the record.
As we're back on the record and he's reviewing, given staff's comment, I would withdraw my request to introduce it as Exhibit 7 because I agree that it's written by an attorney. So we'll instead just have him present via testimony the document.
So I'm not showing him your cover letter. I'm showing him the letter from county executive.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, back on the record. I just handed the witness the cover letter to Harford County's direct testimony. going to mark the letter from the county executive as bench exhibit 1 and the cover letter to Hartford County's direct testimony as bench exhibit 2.
Your Honor, this letter is from Mr. Brian Leitner. It's not from the county executive.
It's docketed as that.
It is. Yeah, it is docketed.
Okay, that's why I was a little confused.
Okay, have you reviewed those 2 documents?
Yes, I have.
Do you agree with the recommendations in those 2 documents?
Yes, I do.
Does the county have any interest in weighing in on the specific conditions of this site plan for this CPCN at this time?
Yes, Your Honor. We would like to have all the requirements listed. This letter written by counsel to the PSC, incorporated into the site plan. The site plan.
I could have asked that question differently, and I will. I have some opportunity, while some extra time in before I issue the CPCN in this case, because I'm waiting for some documentation from the applicant. I'm also waiting to see if the applicant voluntarily changes the buffer plan on its own based on my comments today. So the county has time to take a look at the site plan, the latest site plan that was filed last week, and all of the other, the ERD, the PAR, and the testimony in this case, and offer specific recommendations for this project on how this project could comply with all of the county requirements. Does the county want to take the time? Do you want to take the time to do that?
Yes.
Okay. So that's going to be bench data request 2 to the county. What is a buffer D and a buffer E?
A buffer D is a specific width of landscape plantings in our zoning code. I believe it's, I'd have to look specifically, but I believe it's 35 feet or 30 feet, and E is 50 feet.
And is that, do types D and E, does that just describe the width of the buffer, or does it, are there differences in what goes into the buffer?
Yes, the plantings are described in that table as well. I believe it's 8 large trees, 6 small to medium-sized trees, and then a certain number of shrubs, depending on which buffer yard you're talking about. So that E would have the most plantings and the biggest width.
And do those buffers have a designated, like, planting design?
There are some specifics listed in that language, speaking to the whether or not it's coniferous or evergreen or deciduous. There are some requirements in that language, yes.
And does it have any language about the spacing, or whether the plantings are alternated, or how many rows of plantings?
Yes, it does.
Okay. That's going to be bench DR3.
To clarify, bench DR3 is the specific language for the landscape
The different
buffers.
types of landscape bufferings
Got it.
pursuant to the county's regulations.
Thank you.
Why is this particular site special?
This site is, the first thing that comes to mind is the impacts to the water resources and in our ag areas, where we've for decades tried to conserve and preserve ag lands for ag uses. The wetlands apparently are being directly impacted, and all associated buffers are also being impacted with no regard to local regulatory requirements.
One of those local requirements you testified about earlier was a 75-foot buffer from the waterway in this case. Is that right? Is that on the north side of this property?
Well, that would be, there's buffers for streams and also for wetlands. So it's 75 foot to both streams and non-tidal wetlands.
Okay, so on the site plan, where are those located?
The stream is located to the north, and the buffer will come to the south from that stream, and then the wetlands run through the middle of the property.
So, is it your testimony that the wetlands is completely disregarded, but there is some buffer to the stream to the north?
Yes.
Do you know how much that is?
How much land area?
How much buffer there is to the stream to the north in the current site plan?
I have not reviewed the most recently submitted site plan.
In any of the site plans in this case?
I believe it was 75.
You testified that during the Development Advisory Committee review process that Harford County has, which is your one process where you're going to look at one of these projects, right?
Correct.
That you looked at the site plan and the forest conservation plan, forest stand delineation, and those were the three main items that you look at. Is that correct?
We also look at landscape plans.
The landscape plans outside of what's included in a site plan? The notes on the site plan or an additional landscape plan?
We require landscape plans to be submitted with any submission, depicting the buffer. So again, our department has not received that officially yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm showing the witness attachment A to the latest supplemental testimony of the applicant. It was also filed separately as attachment A as conceptual site plan. Page 4. I see you squinting. I have an older site plan that's bigger, but I don't have the newest site plan that's bigger. But I might be able to give you a bigger page that is similar, and it will do the deed for answering my question. Oh, no, it won't. Are you saying that Harford County asks for something more of a plan than what is on that page?
This appears to be, a lot of times there's more details broken out on plantings. I see a few, but this looks similar to what we would require, yes.
Okay. So, at the Development Advisory Committee process of Harford County would look at the forest stand delineation, the forest conservation plan, and the site plan, which is what I've just showed you. And outside of the four walls of those three documents, would not look at anything else. Is that right?
Planning, so there's other agencies that require different information in terms of sediment erosion control, and as things proceed with, but yeah, just for the plan submittal, we start with the site plan.
Okay. So if there is something in the proposed order, or the CPCN order, that's not in the four walls of this document, the county wouldn't know about it. Is that right?
That's right.
I don't have any further questions for this witness. Staff, go ahead.
Your Honor, your bench data request number 3 for, is that
landscape buffer information, or is that also including wetlands and stream buffers?
Yeah, it would also include wetland and stream buffers.
Thank you.
Thank
Your
you. Does anybody else have any questions for this witness?
No, Your Honor.
I have no redirect.
Okay, thank you for your testimony. You can have a seat. Any other witnesses for the county?
No, Your Honor.
Staff.
Your Honor, staff would like to call Ms. Samarat Derrier.
Good afternoon. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in the testimony that you're about to give?
I do.
Excuse me, can you please spell your first and last name?
First name is Samrawit, Samrawit. Last name is Derere, Dererie.
And could you give us your business address?
Yes, 6 St. Paul Street, Baltimore, Maryland.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Do you have a copy of your direct testimony?
I do.
Was this document prepared by you or under your supervision?
Yes.
Do you have any changes or corrections to this document?
No, I do not.
Your Honor, I'd like to mark the direct testimony exhibits as Samarat Derrier, dated July 9, 2026, as staff exhibit number 1.
Staff is exhibit 1 is marked.
Do you also have a document entitled the Technical Staff of the Public Service Commission Response to Public Utility Law Judge's Bench Data Request number 3?
I do.
Was this document prepared by you using inputs from the other Public Service Commission employees?
Yes.
Do you have any corrections to this document that you know of?
No, I do not.
Your Honor, I'd like to mark the responses to Public Utility Law Judge's Bench Data Request number 3 as staff exhibit number 2.
Staff exhibit 2 is marked.
And I'd like to admit into the administrative record staff exhibits number 1 and number 2.
Any objection?
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
1 and 2 are admitted.
And the witness is available for cross-examination.
The county?
Couple brief questions for the decommissioning agreement. Was there any indication? Yes, sorry. For the decommissioning agreement, was there any indication from the applicant as to who would be producing the solar panels?
Can you say that again? I'm sorry.
Was there any indication in the decommissioning documents presented to staff by the applicant as to the construction of the solar panels, where they were sourced from, et cetera?
Can you clarify the question? Is the question, did the company provide?
Yeah, did the company provide any information to staff?
Yes.
Okay.
It was part of the filing.
And what is staff's understanding as to where the solar panels would be solicited from?
Yeah, we did. I'm not sure where they're going to get the solar panels from. If the question is where they're going to source the solar panels?
Yeah, the first question was where is the applicant sourcing the panels from? Do you have any knowledge about that?
I do not.
Okay. Do you have any knowledge in the decommissioning agreement regarding recyclability of the materials?
Yes, but I believe the company removed that component from the decommissioning plan. They're not accounting for the salvage value of the panels.
Even without accounting for the salvage value, is there any information that the staff has reviewed in relation to that?
Staff has reviewed the decommissioning plan, yes.
And was there any information the staff has reviewed regarding salvage value or recyclability, even if it wasn't formally part of the application?
I think that was where we stopped because it was not going to be part of the company's decommissioning cost estimate.
Understood.
Yeah.
I have no further questions.
PPRP or the applicant?
Nothing from PPRP.
I might have one question, Your Honor. I'm sorry. Is there a requirement to tell PSC where the solar panels are coming from?
I haven't seen that yet, that requirement yet.
And can you clarify, not accounting for salvage value, does that mean they're not being recycled?
No, I think the company removed, the value of the recyclable materials from the cost estimate. So
It's just from the cost estimate?
just from the cost estimate.
That's all I have, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony and your testimony on decommissioning. On page 13 of your testimony, you talk about that the company has not yet executed an interconnection agreement with BGE, but that they received a conditional approval. That estimated customer contribution for interconnection of $750,000 are you able to testify whether or not that's in the ballpark of what the charge has been for other projects?
I think it's different based on what it would need. I've seen estimates from 200,000 and beyond. I think it's based on what it would require to interconnect the project. There are protection elements to it, metering elements to it, and then, based on whether the wires are, to their limits, really depends on the site and what the companies have what the utility would have available at the interconnection.
Were you able to see the BGE estimate for this case?
Yes, the 750 that was included in the cost letter. Yes.
Was that for partial undergrounding and also poles installation?
So that's a preliminary estimate. What it would take to interconnect everything that would be required to interconnect the project. So everything.
So what is included in that for this project?
So it would include service cables, meters, construction of the service line, reclosers, and protection equipment. And to the extent that it would need a pole, I think that would be part of the cost that the company or the developer would have to cover.
Am I correct that this project entails underground along the driveway and then several poles to be installed?
I can double check on the poles, but and how many poles, but it does include a lot of electrical equipment. Again, the final cost estimate and everything would be, I think, finalized once the site plan is completed and submitted to the utility, BGE in this case.
Do you have an idea of when the interconnection agreement would be executed?
I do not.
Okay, thank you very much for your testimony. Anybody else have questions or follow-up from staff counsel?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. You can have a seat. Does
Staff has no more witnesses.
staff rests? Does any council have anything that we need to take up today? I have outstanding data requests. I've not given a time frame for when a response to that would be due. I'm assuming folks might want the opportunity to brief at some time after that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and set a time for responses to bench data requests and leave the record open until I take a look at those and see if there's anything else that I need.
I guess a minor point of clarity on my end. The responses to the bench data requests, if there is no subsequent evidentiary hearing, how are we introducing those as additional exhibits?
They'll be bench exhibits.
Okay.
But there may be, I'm not discounting that there may not be the need for another evidentiary hearing based on what's contained within those, or further bench data requests if I choose to go that way.
Can I just clarify the
Sure.
bench data request 4 is a description of the changes to the site plan from the beginning site plan through each iteration.
Yes.
Bench DR 5 to the applicant is what is the range of elevations on the north, south, east, and west for residents and east and west for the panels.
Yes.
Bench DR 6 is what pollinator mix will be used.
Yes.
And your suggestion, request, whether or not the site plan plantings at 4 and 6, because it says somewhere on the site plan, and I didn't follow where exactly you were, it says someplace it says 3 feet, and you would like that clarified or harmonized?
The comment was the illustrated buffer,
The renderings.
the renderings.
Not accurate?
They may not be accurate, or they may not provide 4-season screening, or they may be insufficient. I'm not sure what they are at this point, but the applicant may want to revisit those.
Okay.
The place, it's on the right side of the site plan.
Okay.
There's something that says buffer planting materials in detail, and there's some pictures of some trees there. And to the right of that, item number 4 says minimum specimen height is 3 feet.
Okay. What page is, what,
It's landscape C004 is the page number,
thank you, Your Honor.
and it's to the right of the photos of trees.
Got it.
Does any council have anything else that we need to take up today?
You were going to set a due date for the bench data.
I was, thank you. What is the applicant's current timeline with regards to construction?
Can you give me a moment?
Sure.
While the applicant is conferring, Your Honor, is the record left open for other parties to request bench data to each other, or is this only directly from the bench subsequent to the hearing?
I mean, the record's open.
Oh, bench.
The record's open, so I mean, I'll handle objections if there's a discovery dispute.
Understood. Thank you.
To get to your real question,
How long do you need?
2 weeks.
Okay. Can
We
you
have
have
no
a
objection.
response in 2 weeks?
I think the, let's see here. Yeah, we should be able to do that in 2 weeks. Yeah.
I'm not sure how long the county's usual review of a site plan takes.
Well, I mean, as I proffered earlier, we currently don't have a local ordinance that contemplates full DAC review. To the extent that we can have our witnesses try to set up an informal commentary on the most recent site plan in response to bench data request 2, we can try to move to that as quickly as possible. I'll confer with Mr. Crobbins, think if 2 weeks is fine on his end, because I might have answered too quickly. But I don't think that we'd be able to have a structured DAC because it's simply not a mechanism that we currently have in the ordinance. And they're trying to rewrite that, but I don't write that ordinance. But if you'll give me just a moment to confirm, Mr. Crobb.
So the commission bends over backwards to try to hear from the county.
Yes.
And to try to take into account the county's
Yes.
wishes. So this is me bending over backwards
Yes.
and giving you extra opportunity to
Yes.
say, if this plan, knowing that we object to this project in its entirety, if it does go through, we want this. Okay,
So I'm, if you'll give me a moment to confer with him. Thank you.
sure.
All right, so we believe that we would be able to sort of have an informal DAC review, an expedited review in relation to the bench data request within 2 weeks. If you wanted a full DAC review, we would need more time than that, but we would be able to confer people on a sort of emergency basis to answer questions with regards to proposed conditions and specific recommendations within that 2-week period. Otherwise, we'd ask for a full month.
The county intervened a little bit late in this case and was required to take the procedural schedule as it was.
Yes.
We've already extended that a little bit, and I'm pretty much extending a couple more weeks just to give the county the opportunity to give specific recommendations, so I'm going to stick with the 2 weeks.
That's fine. Again, we want to be able to comport with the timeline, so we'll keep the expedited review.
Okay. Any other questions from any parties? Anything else we need to take
No,
up
Your Honor.
today? Okay. I'm sorry for that it's so hot in this room.
That's fine.
I'm not sure if it's ever going to be fixed, but thank you everyone else for your time. All the witnesses, thank you for your time today, and counsel.
What's the due date then, if it's 2 weeks? We didn't set a
We'll say 14 days from today.
Business days?
If you want business days, you're getting 10. Let me look at the calendar. Let's say by Wednesday, September 9th. That's a little more than 2 weeks. All right, thank you, everyone. Have a nice day. We can go off the record.
Thank you, Your Honor.